Opozantul rus Garry Kasparov crede că războiul din Ucraina îi va pecetlui soarta lui Vladimir Putin. Nu va muri în propriul pat decât dacă este otrăvit acolo, a declarat fostul campion mondial de șah. El spune că liderul de la Kremlin va fi eliminat de propriul anturaj când situația va deveni critică pentru ruși.
I think Putin knows that losing this war is not an option for him. For dictator for life, losing a war, it's devastating. It's a matter of political survival, and in many cases, probably in his case, it's a matter of physical survival. So that's why he has to pretend he's winning the war. Accepting defeat is impossible for him because if dictator looks weak, and soon he will become a scapegoat, both for his disillusioned henchmen and for angry crowd, angry population, angry mob that will be blaming Putin for economic hardship, military defeat in Ukraine, social economic revolt, and then you will have conditions, the right conditions for palace coup, because many of Putin's inner circle will be looking for a scapegoat, and it's always a dictator who should be blamed for all the failures.
Un embargo complet asupra petrolului rus va pune capăt războiului din Ucraina într-o lună. Este declarația făcută într-un interviu pentru CNN de Andrei Ilarionov, fost consilier economic al lui Vladimir Putin.
I think it's a very important non-military instrument to influence a decision-making process in Kremlin. The reason is very simple. Right now, the direct revenues from export of oil and gas from Russia constitute around maybe 40% of all budget revenues in Russia. It will take into account direct and indirect revenues. Altogether, it would be probably close to 60% of all revenues for the federal budget. Assuming that these revenues would be reduced substantially as a result of implementation of full embargo for energy export from Russia. We understand that it cannot be absolutely full because we have China, maybe some other smaller consumers. Nevertheless, it would affect the main bulk of importers of energy from Russia. And assuming that Russia at this moment does not have access to credit market because of sanctions, and assuming that foreign exchange reserves of the Central Bank of Russia are frozen, Russian government, Putin's government, does not have resources to finance spending. And all these spendings would be forced to be reduced by 40 to 50%. That's a shock that Russian government did not see even back in the 90s. So that is why the regime will be in a position that it would need to stop operations, to look for some armistice, and to see some negotiations with Ukraine.